The Chainsaw Man's story is sure a breath of fresh air that you won't know you needed till you tries it, and the interdiction arc does a good job sitting that ground. I am going to be brutally honest, the manga Tatsuki Fujimoto wrote is one of the best out there, and if the anime is truthful to the material, it'll be the anime of the year. And the beginning, we find a young Denji talking to his chainsaw like dog Pachida. He says that he sold his right eye, kidney, and one of his balls, which bring his debt down to 380,400,000 yen. He says to Pachida, let's go, kill something, and then the two of them kill a tomato devil. Denji explains that a devil equals 300,000 yen. Then he speaks to an elder man that tells him that the devil equals 400,000 yen. Denji's happiness soon diminishes once he tells him that after subtracting the debt and expenses, he only gets 70,000. He takes the money and thinks to himself that after paying the water ball, he only has 1,800 yen left, and since they have nothing to eat at home, they eat a succulent slice of bread. As it was the old man and his driver were watching, and the driver asked, why hire this brat? The old man said that his pops died before he could pay his debt. The driver protests. The old man continues, a real devil hunter wouldn't let us take the corpse, and the good thing about Denji is he does anything for money. Uncertain of this, the driver asks him to swallow a lit cigarette for 100 yen. And Denji does, cause every yen matters for him. The driver speeds away saying that they'll call him if there is another devil job and not think of running away upon them leaving. Denji spits the zippy and tells Pachida that because of the 100 yen they can eat for 3 days. Later at the shack we find the duo eating a slice of bread and saying that the normal things are a dream for them. He can't ask a girl over cause of his run-down shack, and he heard that dating is expensive anyway. Pachida whines in response. And then Denji hugs him, saying that he dreams to hug a girl before he die. As we flock back into the flashback, we see a kid Denji standing at his father's grave who had hung himself before paying his debt to the Yakuza. Behind him was a younger, but still old man tells him to have 700,000 yen by tomorrow or he'll cut up Denji and sell the pieces. As the car leaves, we see Pachida coming out from the trees seemingly to attack Denji, who accepts his fate and tells the chainsaw devil to kill him, cause he's going to die either way. But Pachida doesn't attack Denji, and instead, he falls to the ground, showing Denji his wounds. Denji, seeing that he is dying, he remembers his dying father, and decides that he doesn't want anyone to die. He's sitting up. He tells Pachida to drink his blood, cause he heard devils heal when they drink blood, and if Pachida doesn't want to die, when Pachida bites him he screams, and states that his blood isn't free and that this is a contract in return for saving him. Pachida must in return help to save Denji, so he doesn't want to die either. The next day the old man shows up for payment and finds Denji with a devil corpse in front of him and decides to hire him as a devil hunter. After the flashback is over, we cut back to Denji on the floor saying he can't sleep because he's too hungry, and all he can think about is his debt. He tells little Pachida that he knows what he'll dream of tonight, saying he'll dream of a hot girl playing video games and falling asleep in her arms. He tells Pachida that it's a pretty good dream, to which the pop barks happily. Almost instantly though, Denji spewed up blood, while at the same time the old man started randomly banging at the door calling Denji for a new job. Denji tells Pachida that his mother died of a heart disease. As they leave, Denji thinks to himself that he wants to dream even a little. Soon they arrive at an abandoned building and he questions the old man as he doesn't see a devil. but the old man acts as he didn't hear Denji and starts thanking him for being loyal like a dog. Hearing this, he starts to feel awkward before the old man tells him that he hates the stench of dogs. Denji and Pochita get stabbed. The old man tells dying Denji that they need power to make money, so they made a contract with a devil like he did. Revealing himself, the devil stands on a bunch of abnormal-looking humans around him. While saying that he wants the death of all devil hunters, he says that he, the zombie devil, has turned all these stupid people into his puppets by making them zombies. It orders the zombies to kill them, and soon enough they start chasing the injured duo. As he ran away, Denji thought that he wanted to live a normal life, but no one let him have that, sadly. They catch and murder him, brutally slicing him into pieces before throwing him in a dumpster. As the blood from Denji's nose reaches Pochita's mouth, the little fell thinks about how when they were cutting trees, Denji said that if he dies he worries about Pochita and worry that he might die of starvation or get killed by another devil hunter. Though Denji had said that he has heard of some devils taking over human corpses, and if Pochita is one of them, he wants to give him his body and tells him to run away so the Yakuza can't find him. Then he says it'd be nice if Pochita could live a normal life and die a normal death, while telling him to fulfill his dream for him. Back in the present, Denji's body gets reassembled thanks to Pochita, who is attached to his chest, seemingly fusing with him. With that in Denji's head, he has a dream of the together with Pochita lying on his chest. Denji calls Pochita's name, to which he responds with a cheerful woof. Then Denji asks him if he took over his body like he asked him to which Pochita responds that he always had fun listening to Denji's dreams. Then he is left shocked, but before he could say anything, Pochita tells him that this is a contract and he'll give Denji his heart, but in exchange he wants to see more of his dreams. He then snaps, calling for Pochita. Before looking down and seeing all his wounds healed, he then looks at his chest and finds a cord protruding from his heart identical to Pochita's tail. He screams for his friend before we see all these zombie returning, and the zombie devil is shocked seeing Denji had somehow survived the previous attack. He then orders the zombies to horde at Denji to kill and devour him. Denji just blankly stares at the mob, thinking that they had enough and questioning why they wanted more, before asking himself the same question and wondering if he should have been happy. He thought that dreaming isn't a bad thing, everybody dreams, but if they come in his way they should die. Denji pulls the cord on his chest, going into kill mode. The horde of zombies starts mauling Denji, and the zombie devil says that he must be dead now. After all, they are eating him. At that moment we see a zombie being cut in half. Afterwards we see Denji in his glorious new form tearing the zombies apart like a knife cutting butter. The zombie devil tries to negotiate with Denji but gets completely ignored and cut to pieces. Turning around, Denji notices that the zombies turned into devils. He wails on them and starts slicing them like it was a carnival game, saying he's a devil hunter and should kill them, before his true color appears when he laughs like a madman and says that if he kills them all then he can kiss his debt goodbye. Soon after, a car pulls by the factory and 3 people in suits go in before the girl notes that someone got there first. Seeing a horde of dead zombies before looking around and seeing one living devil, before the mysterious girl walks to Denji and says that this one has a peculiar smell, it isn't devil or human. She asks him if he did all of this, but worn out, Denji starts throwing up blood, and while collapsing he asks the girl to hold him, but she hugs him stingily instead. Then Denji chainsaw form starts fading away, and the girl says she knows he's human. One of the suits asks if he's possessed. She says no, because you can see the possession on their faces. Then she tells Denji that she came to kill the zombie devil, and as a public devil hunter she gave Denji 2 choices, that he can either be killed by her as a devil or be kept by her as a pet human. She tells him that as a pet he gets feed, and he asks her what kind of food he can have for breakfast. The girl thinks and says that he can have bread, jam, salad, coffee, and even more. Hearing that he'll get bread with jam among other things, he accepts, saying it feels like heaven, before collapsing. This is begin. When he wakes up, he's taken somewhere with the devil hunters, his stomach growling, and he says that he hasn't eaten, to which the girl responded that they didn't have breakfast either, so they should stop and have a bite. When Denji hears this, he awkwardly says that he's broke, to which the girl replies that she'll pay for his food, and then give him her jacket, saying that people would stare if he walks around shirtless. He looks to the girl and thinks that people always treated him as something dirty, but this girl is treating him nicely and is cute, so he realizes that he's in love with her. Soon they stop for a bite before some random fella burst in saying that a devil kidnapped his daughter. The girl gets the details, and then the chef tells her that her udon is ready, so she asks Denji about his name and he answers her. She then follows by ordering him to save the girl since she doesn't want her udon to get Sagai. Tries to say no before a suit says that an extremely experienced hunter is on the job, and the girl tells him that he's her pet and she doesn't need a dog that says no. Before saying something so horrifying so casually, and that is that they euthanize dogs in crime division. Horrified as he should be, Denji runs quickly to save the girl. Denji thinks to himself that this girl was so nice he even liked, but then turned out to be a psycho who treats him like a dog. He then is reminded by Pochita before hearing the little girl and going to her, seeing her having fun with the devil. When she notices Denji, she jumps to protect the devil. She then proceeds to say that her dad beats her every day, but this nice devil came to her aid and pleads Denji to not kill it. Denji thinks, and then he tells the girl that all three of them can run away together since he had a devil friend and knows that not all devils are evil. Then the girl asks if they can really run away, and Denki says they surely can. However, when the gills claps his hands and start laughing, her face starts deforming and Denji finds himself being lifted up in the air with devil showing its gross worm-like true form. Shocked, he wonders what happened, and the devil says that he'll show him something cool before he kills him, and that he isn't a worm devil but a muscle devil. Gross either way. He then controls Denji muscles before having the girl saying how the devil is going to mess her up, and then he deforms her face, messing with it while making her laugh. However, Denji giggles and before flipping the kill switch and cutting the muscle devil, saying that now he has no reason to spare a low life like him before slicing him to bits and pieces. Then we see the girl watching at a distance, saying that Denji is a sure a useful dog, and he emerges from the woods. Denji responds with a woof before collapsing, but the girl catches him again and asks if he's okay. He then says that she smells so good and apologies for falling since he cut himself with the chainsaw and that made him lose a lot of blood. She asks how he became like this, and he says that his old pet Pochita became his heart. As he continue explaining, the girl says that his condition, historically speaking, is extremely rare. So rare it isn't confirmed or given a name, but she believes him since she has an especially good nose and says that he isn't lying. She says that he has both the scent of a devil and of a human. Denji blushes, and then his stomach reminds him that he wants some of that udon. The girl then asks him if he can feed himself, to which Denji responds by saying that he can. However, he stops midway and realizes that he can't. So as the girl is feeding an overjoyed Denji, she asks him if it's good, and he responds like a dog. Then she says that she can't believe he enjoyed a soggy udon, it's like he's a dog. Denji blushes a little and asks the girl what her name is, to which responds that it's Makima. simply taken aback by the beauty of her name. Denji asks what sort of guy she's into. Makima thinks for a moment, then says, "It's people just like you, Denji." Denji thinks for a moment, confused, then says, "Isn't that me?" When he realizes it, he says that he likes her too, then realizes she's not there. However, Makima calls him and shows him that she's taking him to the Devil Hunters Tokyo headquarters. Then it is explained that there is over 1,000 Devil Hunter in Tokyo alone, and her bureau offer paid days off, but Denji only thinks of what she said earlier and starts imagining his future with her. She hands Denji a uniform, telling him they normally work in one and that he'll meet his colleagues after he changes. Makima introduces him to Aki Hayakawa, and starting today they are both partners. Denji starts to complain, saying that he wants to work with Makima, but before he can say any more, Aki drags him off, and Makima tells him that if he does well then they'd be able to WPRK together. While patrolling the streets, Aki tells Denji to follow him, and then in an alleyway Aki starts beating Denji, ouching him in the face and kneeing him in the stomach. Afterwards he lights a smoke and tells Denji that he'll beat him up if he shows up tomorrow, then says that people with weak reasons like paycheck or fame are the first to die, saying that the only devil hunters still alive that he worked with are the ones with conviction. He says that Denji only became a devil hunter to chase Makima. Then he throws his cigarette at Denji and puts it out with a spit. Then he turns away and says that he'll do him a favor and tell Makima that he ran away. However, Denji stands up and hit him between the legs, ouch. As he hits poor Aki, he explains that today is the first day he felt like human, and it was the first time someone treated him to a meal his entire life. And that if being a devil hunters for these reasons is shallow, then he'll die to keep things the way they are now. Aki stands up and fights back, tackling Denji and continue to punch him, and as he was delivering punches he got hit between the legs again. Enraged Denji asks him if he likes Makima too. Aki is unable to reply and collapses away, stating that Denji really only aimed for the balls. Returning to the headquarters, Denji says that Aki was attacked by a testicle devil, but Aki states that it's a lie. Makima asks if they can get along, but both of them give contradictory answers. Makima has Denji join Aki's experimental squad, but Aki says that he doesn't need a weirdo as his squad is already filled with them. Makima tells him that his squad was meant to be experimental, which makes Aki confused, wondering what is Denji. Makima says that Denji can turn into a devil, and stunned Aki says that cases like this are just myths. But she says that he's a special case, and should he leave or quit he'd be put down like a devil. Not understanding the situation, Denji asks what she mean, and Makima says that they'll be working together till death do them part. After leaving, Denji asks Aki if Makima is a bad or a good person, to which Aki says that he should be grateful that he is even alive. But as Denji insists, Aki tells him that she is definitely a good person, since she saved his life. As he says this, Denji remembers how she hugged him, then cheekily remarks at the melons she carries around, which Aki instantly perks up at. Later on, Denji and Aki starts living together, and the dream of the legendary beard slice is finally completed. But Aki gets annoyed after seeing the mess that Denny leaves around the house, and the amount of times he had to use the bathroom, pushing him to the breaking point. Before he erupts, Aki receives a call as there is an appearance of a fiend in the eastern Narima residence. After arriving to the location, they head towards the room where the fiend is. As they arrive there, Denji asks what a fiend is, and Aki explains that a fiend is a devil using a human corpse as a host, and are easily identified by the heads as they see it. He explains on that fiend's take on the hosting devil personality. Aki demands Denji to kill the fiend and show his devil powers to prove himself. However, Denji decapitates and kills the devil with a garden axe. Before Aki finishes the sentence, he goes on and says to a confused Aki that if he goes and use his power it'd be a little overboard, and he wanted to give a painless death to the fiend. Aki gets angry and explains that fiends may be half devils but they are still devils, and he shouldn't sympathize with them as they don't have feelings like humans. Intensely, Aki tells him that a devil killed his entire family in front of his eyes, and those cops down there are his mates and they risk their lives every day for their wives and children. Everyone around them is serious, but Denny is not. Aki says that he wants to kill devils in the most suffering way possible and questions Denji's morality about befriending devils, to which Denji says that if there are any devils that could be his friends then he'll take them as he never had any before. However, impressed by his answers, Aki tells him that he'll remember that before leaving the room. As Denji looks down he saw some of those magazines, and he then reveals that he didn't want to use his chainsaw as they would spray blood all over those collectible magazines. He then thinks to himself that he can shower, eat tasty food, and see a lovely lady almost every day as well. Here's everything he wanted already, but feels like something is missing. He knows that Aki's goal is revenge or something. Then he wonders if Makima has a dream of her own, and while thinking of her he comments that he wants to touch her melons. Denji then realizes that what he thought is impossible is now possible with his current life. While he thinks back on what Aki said, Denji thinks that now he has found a serious goal, and that goal is to touch some of those melons. Before Makima informs him that she's pairing him up with a new partner. Dwindling on this thought, Makima explains to him that they pair agents with new partners for small-scale missions and patrols once the partner arrives. Though Makima leaves and warns him that she's a friend, Power then makes her entrance, telling all humans to cower before her as she's called Power. Denji starts to wonder if fiends can be devil hunters, but as he sees her chest he quickly accepts her and greets her, saying he's excited to work with her. And here you have it, folks. This is the end of the first and best arc to introduce newcomers to the story. Next arc is going to be a much fiercer one, so like and subscribe for what's to come.